Okay, going live.
Going live. Woo woo.
I must have a look at what Celeste Barber's posted this week. Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Tuesday, the 26th of May, and it's episode 61. Can you believe it?
Wow.
60 last time.
Where's the time gone?
Well, and since the start of when did we have our first one? Valentine's Day.
Around there, yeah.
It's our first recording.
God.
So we've been pretty busy.
We have.
There's other people. I noticed somebody who's been doing their podcast thing for 6 years, and they're on episode 101.
Wow.
Bunch of slackers.
You know, you've got to put a bit of effort in, haven't you?
Yeah, and just for you,
I've
recast on the cardigan.
Oh, look at the colours.
The brown colour is the MOCH.
I was going to say that, yeah.
And the other one is the antique rose, I think it's called. It's Starcraft Special, just nice and affordable. And I've finished the one front. You'll see it's on a little blue thread.
Excellent.
For joining the shoulders later. And then I'd worked on a little technique for just making these decreases look a bit neater.
Yeah.
But you're swapping colour every 2 rows.
Right.
But you've got a decrease to do on every right side row, and you're doing alternate stitches and slipping stitches with the pink. And sometimes that means at the start of the row you get might see it there. You see on that one where there's where I've done 2 stitches in the contrast colour.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 stitches in the contrast colour, and what I've started doing with it now on this one is that if by doing my SSK decrease, I would then have to knit the next stitch because it's a knit rather than a slip. That would give me 2 pink stitches and then a brown stitch that's slipped.
Okay.
Pink, brown to the end of the row. So what I decided to do was take the 2 brown stitches at the beginning and pass one over the other as if I were casting off a stitch.
Right.
Slip the first brown stitch, which I should be slipping, and then start in the pink. And then you don't end up with these darker bits of colours that shouldn't be there. Or thick clumps of pink. So I'll probably have to do a video or a photo tutorial or something for that, because I'm not sure if I can explain it hugely well.
Well, I'm excited to give it a go.
Yeah, but I don't know, it just appealed to my neatness. And then I thought, do I take away the underarm shaping because you get rid of so many stitches over so many rows?
Yeah.
And then narrow it in, because I'm going to work the sleeves top down on this one just to make sure that that sits well. And I thought, no, I'm not going to get rid of those. It's only a tiny bit of a curve under the arm because it's a tiny garment. It's not an adult piece.
Yeah.
And given that we're going to be picking up stitches around the armhole, and it's easy to pick up extra ones if we need to and decrease them away very quickly, that's not a problem. I think it will be very easy to make that look super neat and without having to do any sleeve cap shaping, because you would only be talking about a couple of short rows, maybe 4 short rows at most. So why give yourself the extra work? Why not just carry on knitting it? Because by the time you've done it, it won't be noticeable. I hope that makes sense. It probably didn't, but
No,
I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible so that there's little to do later.
Sounds like my kind of a knitting project, that, I tell ya.
Yeah, I did have a few ends to weave in, because obviously when you're working bottom up and then you've got to knit the back and front separately, obviously you've got ends there, but that, I mean, it's neither here nor there. You're going to have ends whatever you do, aren't you?
Well, exactly. It's just something you have to deal with, isn't it?
So is that a cardigan or like a waist thing?
Yeah, I am wearing a knitted thing that I knitted.
Well, let's have a look then.
It's I think it's called Bonnie. It's a tin can knits
Oh,
thing,
right.
and it's like a top with the
with the cowl, yeah.
and then so the way that it is, it just hangs. So obviously I need a t-shirt underneath, but yeah, it's sleeveless, just like it's not really. It's got no neck or arm.
Unfinished edges, yeah.
Yeah, and then hang on, I'll stand up. I don't know if you can see. It's just got a tiny little garter, probably just about the size of your finger.
Yeah.
So yeah, first time I've ever worn it. Actually, I made it. Did I make it last year or the year before? I can't remember, but I've never worn it before. It was slightly too snug on me. It showed all my belly and everything off.
Yeah, well, you don't want that, do you?
No. So I got it out of storage the other day, and I thought, oh, let's give that a try. And I put it on this morning. I was like, yeah, actually, that's quite nice, because I'm not normally a big fan of wearing knitted stuff in the warmer weather without any sleeves and that. I've never really quite understood it personally.
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable with the short sleeve top.
Yeah.
To be honest, if I were leaving the house, I would have a little bolero cardigan up the top of it.
But then I find that really weird, because it's like, I don't know, it's not quite a twin set. I would feel really bizarre putting a jumper on with this.
Yeah, well, exactly. And to me, if I were going to knit that, I'd probably make an elbow length sleeve.
Well, yeah.
Because I think it's the thing that up until I hit menopause and became 1,000,000 degrees,
Yeah.
like super smoking hot, obviously, because I just am.
You are, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And apparently I'm going to be queen, but that's another story.
Okay.
I just always added sleeves to anything like that because I never wanted to be without that layer.
Yeah.
I always felt drafty, and I'd never liked anything where it kind of had a V at the back or a dipped neck at the back, because I'd want to be pulling it up to keep my neck warm.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, and everybody's different with it. Whereas my mum would do, she'd be looking at me and thinking, "That's you moron, just get it on."
This neckline is perfect for me because I don't like anything that's too high up, to be honest. And I do like a good
close to the neck.
Yeah, I like a good deep V, and I'm quite happy to wear a vest top underneath stuff. But I have kind of dressed for winter today because it was cold and grey and miserable and horrible this morning, but it's warm. It's one of those days where it's not sunny, but it is warm. It's not muggy. It's just warm out there. It's bizarre. And I've got to go shopping later, so I think I might change my top, because it's not warm enough to go out without any sleeves on. And especially in the supermarket, you get yourself down the freezer aisle and you find yourself like, oh, yeah, I don't like going shopping without something on my arms.
I think I've decided in terms of shopping that I am going to knock the lactose-free yogurt and stuff on the head.
Okay.
My eyes are feeling just a bit puffy, and that's usually dairy. I haven't got dark circles, but that usually points to dairy issues more than anything else. So I think I might knock it on the head for a few weeks. I'll eat what I've got and then not buy any more for a few weeks. I might pick up some rice milk and make myself some rice pudding, because that's obviously, if I use the rice milk for the healthier choice, then that would give me something else sweet to pick on.
Honestly, the rice pudding I made last week was delicious. So simple. So simple. Loved it. And I miss the milk. I do miss the milk. I won't deny it, but it's one of those things.
I lived without any dairy products at all for probably 3 or 4 years, and I've never felt this healthy.
Yeah.
And then I met Mike, and he's a dairy monster. He's a cheese monster, and he loves his chips and things like that. And gradually it changed our diets here from something that I always felt was far, far healthier.
Yeah.
So I need to get back into those better habits again, I think. That said, I had a small piece of Aero chocolate earlier, and
well, see, that's the thing, isn't it? Getting the vegan chocolate. I get sometimes I do get the the vegan stuff that you can get, but this is all right. I mean, but it has got soya in it.
Is it soya lecithin or just
Yeah, it is
soya protein? Yeah.
Can you add that?
Small amounts, yeah.
So
it's in lots of things, soya lecithin.
Well, it's what, sorry?
Soya lecithin is in a lot of things. It's really hard to avoid.
I know, yeah. So, I mean, I tend to have just a square after I've eaten at lunchtime and tea time. It's just enough for me. If I do notice that if I have too much of that chocolate, I get a lot of wind. But that is my main that's my main symptom with anything that I've eaten that I shouldn't eat. The first thing I notice is the wind. So pleasant.
So on the Cowlabunga prizes,
oh yeah,
Rita was in touch to say hers had arrived.
Oh wow.
Now what made me laugh was the package arrived with the yarn today. It is lovely. When my husband got it out of the mailbox and handed it over, he said, "Royal Mail, you've received something from the Queen."
Yeah.
I responded and said, "Well, close, but I'd be an awesome Queen." At which point Rita quite rightly agreed.
Yeah.
And then Janice, Mittergirl, was asking, would I be prepared to call bingo like Wills and Kate did the other day? And I said, I don't mind calling bingo, I just don't want to play it.
I like playing bingo.
And don't ask me to sing. The response then was, well, of course, the Queen doesn't sing in public, so that's fine. So nobody would dare to ask me. And Janice has gone off to practice her curtsies.
Oh, excellent.
And I said I'd had a route in my wardrobe to look for suitable clothing for my queenly duties.
Yeah.
And in terms of purple robe type things, I do have a purple dressing gown, a fluffy dressing gown, thick, luxurious plush one. I don't have any fur in the house other than attached to Labradors, because I think fur looks much better on the animal that
it does.
owns it in the first place. So I won't be having ermine on my robes.
No.
But I did suggest that pink bunny slippers might be a more approachable change to the royal regalia. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I think so. The other thing that Queenie is very partial to is a lime green coat and dress ensemble.
Yes, she has.
How are you in lime green?
I quite like lime green, not as bright as Queenie's, because I think
Queenie definitely likes a bit of a bright lime green, doesn't she? Bless her.
Yeah, I think she was a bright winter in her day.
Right.
I seem to put her in a lot of bright spring colours.
She was quoted once as saying that she likes to wear the bright colours so that she stands out, so that people can see her as well. Bless her.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love Queenie.
They are lovely. I think we're very lucky to have our royal family, even if a lot of people don't necessarily agree. And
certain members, anyway.
Did you watch the car crash on television last night?
Car crash TV last night. My goodness, honestly, it was like watching Prince Andrew again, but worse. I actually think it was worse because Prince Andrew did his interview off his own back, and he hadn't been prepped by anyone because everyone was aghast that he'd even said what he said. Whereas he obviously sat down, and I think he was half an hour late because Durham Constabulary released their statement and he had to go and rewrite his statement, I believe. I mean, I can't prove it, but that's what I think. It was just awful. He couldn't answer any questions. He was stuttering. He was all... So anyway, I did write to my MP. I thought I can't in good conscience sit here and complain about it and think to myself, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and all the rest of it without actually making making my point and then maybe just moving on from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I think one of the funniest things I saw, and I don't know if he's deleted it, was Chris Renard, one of the Liberal Democrat peers from the House of Lords, had posted this picture of him, and you know the Barnard Castle Road sign.
Yeah.
And it was a picture of that, and then sort of 20 versions in slightly smaller each time, down to a little speck at the bottom.
Oh, I love it. That's hilarious.
And someone else had done one with the Specsavers logo.
Yeah.
Should have gone to Barnard Castle.
Should have gone to Barnard Castle. You should have done. I mean, honestly, I love Barnard Castle. I very nearly bought a house there when I bought this one. I really wanted to move there, but it was just a bit too far from my mother-in-law and that at the time.
It is a little bit on the awkward side to get to and from.
Oh, it's a hidden gem in the middle of nowhere. But I took my parents there once when they came up to visit. We went to the Bowes Museum, and they loved it as well. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely place. And I'm not surprised that they wanted to go for a drive there and a walk along the River Tees. Who wouldn't? You know, but that's beside the point.
Well, exactly.
Honestly, the whole thing I just thought I'd take a little 30-mile drive just to test my eyesight. Really? I'm pretty sure that's against the highway code. I can't believe he drove up there in the first place feeling unwell. But my biggest problem with it is, this is what I wrote in my letter to my MP. I said, I'm not going to bore you with all the facts that actually riled me in his statement and all the bits that I think are complete and utter BS, let's be honest, but I didn't say that. I said, I'm pretty sure you can work out for yourself which bits of his story, because it is a story, made me angry. I said, the reason why I've decided to write to you is because as a constituent, I feel let down by the fact that everybody is rallying round him, telling lies, covering it up. If he'd have just come out with it in the first place and been honest from day one and said, I am here because of this, then I probably would have disagreed with it, but just got on with my life.
Well, I did wonder if he was going to do, like, you remember the Guinness bloke with the Guinness scandal, who avoided jail by having Alzheimer's and being close to death, and is the only person to have ever, in the history of the world, recovered from Alzheimer's.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't make me suspicious at all.
I don't know this, but it's complete and utter, well, whatever. I think.
Well, and they actually issued a statement saying he hadn't been to Barnard Castle. So, and I love J.K. Rowling.
Oh, she's brilliant.
I loved her before, but the comment where she tweets the civil service Twitter account and says, when you find out who posted this comment, please let me know their name and address. I'd like to send them a year's salary.
Yeah. Is that the one where it said, imagine working with these liars?
With these liars and truth twisters.
The one that got taken down. That was brilliant, that.
Yeah, genius. So that person's going to get a year's salary off J.K. Rowling.
Which I hope, yeah, because he might get found out and sacked.
Or she.
Or she, yeah. I mean, honestly, I have no words. I honestly have no words, really. When you're just sitting watching the TV and getting angrier and angrier, and when he kept saying, I believe I behaved reasonably, and what was it Boris Johnson said? That he acted to stop the spread of the coronavirus by going up north. How I don't understand that.
That's utter tripe. And the thing is, one of my friends has a mate in London who lives just down the road, and he's one of the volunteers for his local support group. And it's not like they even made contact with them to get shopping or anything else.
No, he admitted that though, didn't he? He admitted that he didn't explore any possibilities in his local area where he was. Not
Well,
for childcare, not for shopping, nothing. His niece had apparently volunteered, and so he just drove up there.
well, and they have a load of family in London.
Yeah, it's her family, isn't it? His family's in Durham, and her family's in London.
Well, I'm sorry, but what's wrong with her family that one of them wouldn't have stepped forward to look after that lovely little boy?
And he was poorly enough that he couldn't look after his little boy, but he was well enough to drive
250 miles. Oh, I know.
Honestly, it's like, I mean, this is another point I made in my letter. It could have been, I could have done the exact opposite, you know, the reverse. I'm up in the northeast and my family's down on the south coast, and I'm here on my own with 2 kids coping. I could have decided, well, sod that for a game of laughs. I'm going down to be near my family.
I know.
And I'd have been in the wrong.
Exactly. And the thing is, there was a limit on how far you could travel at that point in time.
And if you have symptoms, do not leave your house for any reason.
Yes, unless it's to go to hospital, obviously, in an ambulance.
Exactly. Oh, that was the other thing. His little boy was so poorly, he had to go to hospital. And at this point, he was so bad, he couldn't actually get out of bed, yet there were no taxis. So he went to the hospital and picked his wife and son up from the hospital.
Yeah, clutching at straws and sympathy, I think.
Although it must have worked, because the opinion polls yesterday morning were 80% he should resign, and this morning they were 70%.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he'll get away with it. I mean, even the Daily Heil we're asking the question, you know, what planet are you on? It says something when they're prepared to speak up, because they're screaming Tory press, aren't they?
I know. I wish more MPs had resigned over it, though. Only the one went so far.
I haven't found out any more news. Just get back to knitting and crafting generally. About Blueprint.
You haven't?
Or what was craftsy.com. They made some sort of announcement to the industry press, apparently. I think I linked to the article maybe on my Woolly Madly Deeply page, but I'll put the link in here in the group if I forgot to do it here. But basically they announced that it will be closing probably in the next few months.
Right.
Possibly even the end of next month. They weren't really certain about that. Now, a lot of us here have memberships here monthly, which I've probably done for a little while, most of this year, and occasionally do for a while, and then if I'm not using it, I stop, and then I start again when I am. But I have probably 45 forever classes, and that's what they were sold to me as, forever access. So I'm intrigued to hear what they're going to do with that, because I think they should make them available so that I can download them and then back them up and keep them somewhere safe.
Because you can't watch them at the moment, can you?
Oh, Helen's on, and she's saying that Dominic Cummings and Michael Gove should both now be prosecuted for driving with dodgy eyesight. Well, the rest of us would be. If I was stopped and said, oh, well, I can't see very well, I thought I'd test my eyes on the road by running over a few grannies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm really not seeing the logic there. Perhaps it's just me.
What did Gove say?
I'm not sure, to be honest. If he even appears on the screen, I am gone. It's just, I don't even hang around.
Can't stand him.
To listen to what he's got to say, because I just can't stand him.
Not since he was education secretary and I was teaching at the time. I think he was responsible for a lot of my colleagues leaving at one point.
I think he's just an awful person. It makes my flesh crawl.
I know.
I look at him and I say, do you remember the really, really old version of Dracula, Nosferatu? Sort of a black and white one, where he's got these 2 pointy, sort of angled teeth at the front, and it's really quite creepy. It's all done on what you don't see.
Okay.
rather than sort of gore and all the rest of it. And he just reminds me of Nosferatu.
I don't remember it.
He might be very pleasant as an individual, but I doubt it.
All right, so Gove said he'd driven to test his eyesight in the past. Was that coming up in defence of Cummings?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I
Why
know.
are they all trying to defend him?
I don't know, but would you like to know about the height of stupidity here?
Come on, let's hear.
Well, guess who was in Barrow last night, I believe, and had a public rally? That horrible, is it Tommy Johnson, whatever he's, Tommy Robinson or something? That horrible racist pig who changed his name to Yaxley Lennon or whatever it was.
Is he from the EDL?
EDL, yeah. They came in support. Now, in the last week on social media, a young woman who has clearly been looking at the photographs, and as someone who's done cosmetic and theatrical makeup and does work with images, they don't look like faked images to me, with a finger half hanging off and bruising and all sorts of other injuries. And she posted because she didn't feel like the police or anyone else was taking her seriously. Now, since then, she's been arrested and she's now in jail over in the northeast.
For what?
Perverting the course of justice, because she posted about it and posted some of the messages that her abusers. So,
what's this like? Sorry, I've missed a bit of this story. Who's beating her up?
it is alleged,
Right.
obviously it's not been to court, nothing's been proven.
Yeah.
Police are supposedly investigating.
Right.
It's been going on for probably 5 years or more in this particular young girl's case, allegedly.
Okay.
That she's been groomed by a gang of men, and it's all related to takeaway type businesses.
Right. Okay. So, like,
now the EDL have grasped this on the basis of race.
Yeah. Okay.
Attacks against young white girls.
Young white girls by Asian men, which is what it was in Yorkshire, isn't it?
Well, it was, but what the press don't tell you is that some of the victims were young Asian women. So it wasn't all about race. It was all about perverted, disgusting, sick men.
Oh yeah, the girls
and
happened to be white and the men just happened to be Asian. I don't think it was.
Absolutely.
Because,
the EDL have jumped on the racism thing.
Right.
Okay. Here, and a bunch of COVID-idiots, Wuhankers, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
All congregated, didn't observe social distancing, and had some sort of mass meeting in Hollywood Park in Barrow last night. There's photographs of it, and they're stood inches away from one another. There are some prize people who look like incredible, for all the wrong reasons, specimens of humanity, battling to get selfies with the person. It's honestly, it just disgusts me that.
Well, if it literally just affected them, then I would be saying, get on with it, get the infection, and it serves you right. But it doesn't just affect them, though, does it?
It doesn't. And my concern is that now it's been grabbed by the anti-migrant lobby, who presumably won't say no to medical care from a migrant working in the NHS if that means saving their life.
Yeah.
But are prepared to be utter arses over everything else.
Double standards.
Yeah, it's screaming hypocrisy. And they're the ones that have come out. Now, the family have begged people not to gather in public like this, not to protest, to write to their MP, write to the Police and Crime Commissioner, and continue putting on pressure, get this case properly investigated, and it's an awful expression to use, but put to bed.
Yeah.
Basically to be sorted out and get justice for this poor young woman.
To sound American, closure.
Yes. And that's what I want to happen. And I don't want what's happened to her to be overtaken by a gang of screaming racists.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's what happened. And now we're all bracing ourselves for this massive peak that's going to come within 7 to 14 days.
Yeah.
Because of these imbeciles who can't get the 2-metre thing. And
Well,
don't get me wrong, I want justice for this young woman. I really do. And my heart breaks for her family, for what they've been through, reporting again and again and again that she's either been taken or threatened or anything else. And there's a lot of victim shaming going on.
Yeah.
That's the problem with justice in this country. We shame the victims, and we shouldn't. There's a simple answer to this. And, you know, gentlemen watching are not going to like this, but just stop raping, controlling, abusing, and treating women like crap. Just stop doing that and it'll be fine.
Keep it
Stop
in your
acting like arses and thinking with your testicles, and start using your brains and acting like human beings.
That's why. Did you watch was it 3 Girls or whatever? That was the one. Was that the Manchester one? Was it Manchester?
I'm not sure. I didn't.
It wasn't.
Because I'd have been angry and upset for weeks.
It was really, really good, but it was the same thing that happened here in Leeds, I believe it was. But it wasn't that. I'm sure it was Manchester. And that took so long to come to anything because it was, well, look at the girls.
Well, and I know someone who was raped in Manchester, as the situation would have it, and begged the police for help. And because she looked a bit untidy and a bit unconventional, they basically told her to go away and treated her like she was the problem.
Yeah.
And if that culture does not change, then we're never going to get justice for young women. And I don't care what these girls are wearing or where they're going. Nobody should be interfering with them or hurting them. And it shouldn't matter what they wear, because their clothing has got nothing to do with it.
It was very similar when I lived in Saudi. Phil came home and he was fuming, and he was saying some guy, some Arab person had said something about rape, and he likened it to a dog eating a piece of steak, and he said, well, if you leave a piece of steak on the side, you shouldn't blame the dog for eating it. Basically, yeah. Honestly, Phil was incandescent with anger over it.
Yeah, like
and because Phil was going, so who do you blame? You blame the steak. Honestly, it's just
I think Tracy Ullman nailed it in her show, and you can watch the clip on YouTube. But basically, a guy gets mugged and his watch and wallet gets stolen, and these 2 female detectives come in, and one of them's the emotions counsellor who's victim support for him. And they're sat there and they're sort of absent-mindedly saying, so were you dressed like this then during the attacks there? Is this how you were dressed? In a provocatively wealthy manner, looking like you were gagging to be robbed. Is that how you were dressed? And that's how women are treated all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same, but not the same, kind of, with all these wealthy people who keep getting broken into because they're sharing all their stuff on Instagram, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just stupid beyond belief, isn't it? Because it's not that they've got the stuff, it's that they do all these virtual tours of their homes. And of course, anybody who's anyone who shouldn't be watching will be having a look and going, oh yeah, that's such and such a lock. Oh yeah, that's I can get into that with the shovel.
And if I go there, and the safe is over there,
and they've got this and they've got that, and they don't realise, they're so naive.
Yeah.
That they don't realise that not everybody out there is super nice and all the rest of it.
There's a lot of people out there that aren't super nice. Like me, I'm not super nice. I'm horrible. I was on a right one today as well. I've emailed Tikiboo today.
Why? What have Tikiboo done?
They had a sale over the
Oh,
weekend.
I got that message, but then none of the stuff I
Monday.
clicked on was in stock.
Exactly. So I emailed them this morning because all my stuff is in a size large and it still fits me and it's fine and I can still run in it, but it's not as nice and snug like I used to like the way that it held all your tummy in and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need a medium. So I was having a look and I clicked on shorts, medium, nothing. No tops in medium, no bras in medium. I looked in large, there was a couple, but nothing that I liked, and I was annoyed. I was like, 30% off is quite a decent amount, and I've got to buy quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they put a caveat in the email that said very limited sizes only, that
Yeah,
wouldn't be so bad. Because then I would expect it that maybe all the super extra fatty ones that I might buy might be gone because they
yeah.
make less of those.
Or they would just say, or if they'd said in the email something like, we're offering 30% off on our limited stock that we've got left so that we can clear it out and get some new stuff in. Right? Beware, sizes are limited because it is literally just a clearance thing. Or put it as a clearance, end of line clearance or whatever. Anyway, I emailed and said I was really upset that there was nothing for my size. I had an email back basically saying they did think about it, but they're fighting for their survival at the moment. I was thinking, I'm not being funny, right? I love Tikiboo. You love Tikiboo. Everybody loves Tikiboo. They've got quite a what's the word?
They've got a good following
Yeah, a
and
loyal
they've
following.
continued training right the way through. I
Yeah,
think I think the issue at the moment, I don't know what you think, Helen, as well, is that it's a bit of a mic drop moment because we're actually just at the moment buying what we need.
yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
As opposed to what we want.
And I need Tikiboos.
Um,
And I get that their factory's shut. I get that they can't get new stuff in. But I do think that once their factory opens, they're going to hit the ground running. They are not
they'll
going.
get stuff sent in airmail instead of
Well, it's made
air
in
freight, won't
Turkey,
they?
I believe, isn't it?
Where
Oh
to?
no, Pakistan. Pakistan.
Well,
It's
it's
made in
same,
Pakistan.
yeah, they'll get their first lot of orders in by air freight, which does
Yeah,
cost, but it's fast.
yeah. And you can't tell me they haven't got anyone furloughed.
Well, absolutely.
I honestly just think that this whole we're fighting for our survival at the moment, I don't believe it. I really don't believe it because I honestly think as soon as they get any more stock in, when they manage it, it'll just go. People will
Mhm.
buy it. They're
Yeah.
not cheap. They're 30 odd quid and people still snap them up.
Well, absolutely. I think I've got 3 or 4 sets of bottoms, something like that. I've got the Mr. Men. I've got some
Yeah.
camo ones. And I think I've got some leopard ones.
Ooh, snazzy.
Yeah, they don't look particularly snazzy on me.
Oh,
But at some point they will.
they do. I love
They
them.
look-
I've got 3 pairs of full lengths, I think. 1 pair of capris, but that I need some more capris. I like the capris. And I had 4 pairs of shorts, but I gave Anne a pair so that she could get used to them, see if she liked them before she put in an order. Because like I say, they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
So I've got 3 pairs of shorts and I need to replace all those with a smaller size.
Mm.
So, and I will be ordering them all. I don't buy from anywhere else. I've tried Sturdy by Design. I'm not as happy with them. I like the Tikiboos. I like the fit. I like the pocket. I know that they're perfect for me. So why would I go elsewhere?
I know.
So anyway, I think I was just that way inclined after writing to my MP, and then I rattled that one off, and then I was like, who needs? Next it's going to be Strava. Oh, gorgeous! You're flashing along there. So I'm gonna email Strava next because I'm fed up. They've moved all their stuff off of their free platform, so now all you can basically do is record. You can't compare your same run to see if you're getting any better. It's all going onto a paid for platform, which is fine. Okay, so I thought, right, I'll have a look and I'll go for it. I'll pay for it. I don't mind. But it's £48 a year, or £6.99 a month. I was like, no, it's too much. It really is. I think they're just taking the mickey, to be honest.
Yeah, I think my blueprint is about £6.99 a month or something.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that because there's a wide variety of classes, and I
You're
can
learning
everything and download the materials, and I've got them for future use. I don't necessarily have to go back to the class or anything, and I can bookmark stuff, and that's great. But Fitbit are doing this thing at the moment where it says 90-day free trial of their paid service.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's about it's between £10 and £15 a month or something.
Ow.
If I've read it correctly, I might have remembered that wrong. But you know what I mean? It was the kind of money where I just thought, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've got Netflix for less than that. I've got Disney Plus for less than that. And it gives me far more amusement than having the heart rate data and the other fancy stuff that you used to give me but now won't on my Fitbit.
Now they're charging. I think the Peloton is about £12.99 a month. So I don't mind paying for things, but I do think that that's just a bit too much, to be honest.
Yeah, I think some of the subscription models definitely need people to kind of look at it and think again.
Because if you lower the price, more people will subscribe, and then you will make more money.
Well, it's the pile it high, sell it cheap ethos, isn't it? And that's the thing. You make it affordable.
And then
and then it's not a decision.
Exactly. And also, if it's at that level, even if you're not using it, you kind of forget about it and you still carry on paying it anyway. Whereas if it's a little bit on the expensive side, that's the sort of thing that you immediately stop paying for when you're not using it.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Helen
said she almost wrote to her GP. You may have given me the push to actually do it. Well, I think so. It doesn't take much, and I think MPs can't accurately represent us if they don't know what we're thinking. I suppose that's why I decided to do it.
I know our MP, and he knows exactly what I'll be thinking.
Yeah,
I don't need to tell Simon Fell what I'm thinking, because the next time I see him, he will preempt my parade.
Say hi to Rita.
Hi, Rita. How you doing?
She's just come in from 2 hours of working in the garden.
Oh, good grief.
Oh,
get yourself a nice beverage and sit down and relax. I didn't tell you what I've got today, but it claims to be.
Okay.
It claims to be a flavoured cappuccino. Now, what was it? Amaretto, it says.
I love amaretto. I just had a black tea in my favourite mug that nobody can see because I can't work out which way I'm going.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. It's really classy, that one.
It's really classy. I need to
cool down, Rita, and we've already decided what I need to be queen, so we're all sorted.
Yeah, you are queen. Yeah,
absolutely.
What was your official title? So we've got Queen Elizabeth II at the moment.
Yeah.
Are you going to stick with Lorraine, or are you going to take on a different name like some of the monarchs do?
No, I'm going to stick with Lorraine the First.
Queen Lorraine the First.
Of England and the Empire and the universe. I'm going to go with that because somebody ought to be in charge.
So you're an Empire girl, not a Commonwealth.
Well, obviously we have the Commonwealth.
I thought we didn't have the Empire anymore.
Well,
Empire Day turned into Commonwealth Day, didn't it?
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the idea of Empress,
Empress is a lovely word.
Yeah, sounds,
Yeah.
Empress of wherever, Erswick.
Empress of Erswick.
Yeah,
Can I have the Duchy of Nunthorpe?
Absolutely. And Janice, or Mitter Girl on Ravelry, is going to be the mistress of the bathrobes. She's already
Oh, I
volunteered
love
for
it.
that position. So I don't even have to pay someone to look after my fluffy dressing gown.
Who was in charge of the Privy Council? Didn't they weren't they like really higher than high in the Privy Council?
Well, I mean, in Henry VIII's days, they had a groom of the stole who wiped the monarch's bottom for them. So.
With a stick, with the thing on the end of the stick, didn't they?
Or perhaps not if the monarch had been a nasty pig that day.
Jab them.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, sorry, forgot to put the end on there, sir.
Oh, I put it on, it fell off. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
The groom of the screw top who didn't get the fastening right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love it.
Oh, Helen's saying, can you afford the Peloton penthouse suite?
What's that then?
I don't know. Is that not where they're always doing their exercising?
They always have really nice places in the advert. Maybe that's it. I mean, I can't even afford the Peloton app, let alone the actual Peloton machine.
Well, and you know she's not a real fitness trainer, because if she was, she wouldn't be living in a flaming penthouse.
Oh, yeah.
In a grotty flat over the chimney.
I found this woman, what is it, Fitness by Amy or something on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And I've started doing her upper body things because I want to get rid of these bingo wings. So I was doing that today. So you get your dumbbells, right?
Mm.
And you start, and one of the things that she gets you to do, you do it push up like that. Are you watching me, Mrs.? So you
Let me get on the correct screen. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, so you push your dumbbells up, then down like that, and then oh, that kills. And then down, and you do that over and over and over and over. Oh my goodness. Oh, it hurts, I tell ya.
She sounds mean to me.
Honestly, it hurts. And I'm thinking, if I can do that 3 times a week, yeah, I think I'll have gorgeous arms. I want arms like Mel C in Jesus Christ Superstar. She had gorgeous arms. I think, get a bit definition going on there.
You have to do planks and push-ups and things like
that. I
was
doing those in that as well. Horrible.
Stick. But there you are.
When I did a run on my bike, not on my bike. How can you do a run on your bike? That's because I got Peloton in my head. Get your head around that.
No, okay.
I didn't go running on the bike.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing about that one.
I did a run on the treadmill. I finally worked out how to do the programs. I just
how many years have you had the treadmill?
Well, it came in August, and I hadn't used it until we went into lockdown. So it just sat in what was the playroom, which is now supposed to be a gym, but it's not, it's just a dumping ground. So anyway, I did sprints, and it starts you off, it asks like minimum, like what your minimum speed would be, and so it was doing 3.5 minimum speed, which is the equivalent of doing a 5k in about an hour, right?
Okay.
So I was doing that for one segment, which is around about 2 minutes. And then it follows it with 2 segments of 6.5 it was, which is the equivalent of doing a 10k in less than an hour.
Right.
Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, like this, and you're dying because it's going for nearly 5 minutes.
Has it got attachments on the treadmill? For like a drink?
Yeah. Because I
or a sick bucket.
Yeah, well, I just kind of chuck the water in the vicinity of my mouth, and it just kind of goes everywhere because I'm going too far. But I had to slow it down to 6.3. But even so, I was dying. By the end of it, I was dying. Half an hour, and I did almost the 2.7 miles that I would have done in the 32 minutes, nice, slow and steady. Because I was dying. So yeah, I've worked out quite hard today. I think I need to just chill out and do nothing. I am serious.
Don't call me Shirley.
Who was called Shirley? Oh, I need to show you. Oh no, I did show you. I sent you that. I sent you that, didn't I? That picture that I made of me.
Yeah, you must share that.
Shall I share it? Hang on, where is it?
I think you should. Yeah, the title of this photograph is it's the twins from another mother, isn't it?
It could be. My brother, I sent it to my brother and he was like, oh my God, I can't unsee that now. Hang on, where is it? Okay, I found it. So I made this last night and I was thinking all along, with grey hair reminds me of someone and I can't work out who it is. And now I've worked it out.
Yeah, you've got to see this.
Oh, hang on. Oh no, I think that's just going to show me that. No, hang on. Oh, right. Open image in new tab. Let's try that. Let's see what happens there. Because I've had to find it on, because it's on my phone. I've had to find it on Messenger.
Right.
I'm not very good. All right. Yes, that's it. There.
Yeah, twins from another mother.
Oh, I love it. I thought I was quite pleased with myself doing that, actually.
Yeah, I thought Brian's hair would be grayer, to be honest. Yeah, I thought it would be grayer.
That's with the grey dye on my hair, that.
That's a virtual dye.
Yeah, I went on what website did I say it was?
Was it L'Oreal or
no, a Garnier or something? You can go and try on all the different colours.
Yeah, I might go and choose a colour, but I'm not going to put a colour on because I quite actually like my colour and my grey.
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking there's a bit too much of it now. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to put that dark beigey blonde on it and see what happens.
Yeah.
I love it or I'll hate it. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, it's only 7 million viewers going to see it.
Exactly, it's fine. And then they can tell me how awful I look, can't they?
Well, they could. Or they could play nice.
I was also thinking that I looked a little bit like what's her name? Khaleesi in that other photo.
All right.
Do you know
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, do you remember I sent the white one, didn't I? The white blonde one.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah, that's the one. Hang on, where is it? That one. Hang on. Open image in new tab. Right, are you ready for this? I don't know if I sent you this one.
It's with it. I don't think you did.
That one there.
Oh my God. Which one's that? That the light blonde.
That is I can't even remember what that was.
Light ash blonde.
It might no, I don't think was it? I don't know. There was a golden ash blonde that was horrendous.
I think the golden medium blonde was about the right depth, but it was too warm, wasn't it? For sure.
Golden, it just wasn't right.
It was making your skin look yellow.
Yeah, I think I definitely look better with a darker colour. I can't go blonde. It's just not my colour. That was funny. I thought I looked a bit like Khaleesi, like an ugly Khaleesi when she's 40. Instead of when she's looking gorgeous. Bless her. I just aged her by 20 years, poor love.
I know.
She has dodgy eyebrows. Have you ever noticed that?
They're very thick.
But also, did you ever watch Me Before You?
No.
It's a romantic comedy. She's in it, and she goes to look after this guy who's in a wheelchair. She's like a carer or something. And the whole way through that movie, I was completely distracted by her eyebrows because she was like this all the time with them. And they kind of had a life of their own. I know that she was obviously trying to be expressive in her face, but they were just going all over the place.
See, and for other cerebral film reviews.
Yeah, I can do brilliant film reviews. I haven't watched anything else on the telly yet.
I don't think Matt Kermo's got anything to worry about with us.
I like him. He's brilliant. He is.
He's quite funny. I watched his list of scary movies.
Oh yeah. Who did
Helen's asking, have you seen the piss take of all the exercise bikes locations? Have you got a link, Helen? We'll have to have a look. Is that on YouTube? That's something we'll find?
Yeah.
That would just be really good.
That sounds fun.
Right, I think I've got my last sminky pink row to do now before I start my shoulder shaping.
Woot woot.
Yeah, be good.
I also found a really funny photo today.
What of?
Hang on, I'll show you it. Oh, no, hang on. Oh. There it is. Right. Share that with you. You'll like this one. You have to decide which one you are. Are you one of the edge ones? Or are you one in the middle? Share.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely the one in the middle.
I'm going to be one of the brown ones. I've been out in the garden working, haven't I? And then I'm out running, and yesterday I sat out and just sat on my sun lounger for a little while and enjoyed the sun. Yeah,
I'm planning to go outside when we're finished online and take my knitting and just sit in the front garden for a bit. Now that I've retrieved the garden chairs, which have been on a tour of the front of the Empire estate, you know what it's like when you've got a garden that's just so many acres.
It's difficult to keep control, It
is. I mean, I just about manage it with the staff, but
have you not furloughed them?
Goodness, no. No, I wouldn't want them to get slack about these things. No, they can socially distance across the many acres.
And they're not allowed to go home. They've got to stay on the estate and isolate with you.
Well, absolutely. I think that's perfectly fair because that suits me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be expected to get your own dinner, would you? For crying out loud.
Well, I do wonder if the Queen is sort of capable of chicken ding in the microwave, whereas if she'd sort of wander into the kitchen and go, not sure what that is.
Well, I think Princess
a meal in a frozen plastic box. No, really, what is it?
I think Harry and William could probably cook themselves something.
Well, apparently William's quite a good cook because he did it to impress Kate when
didn't he propose to her over a chicken dinner or something?
Oh, Harry, yeah.
Oh, was it Harry?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm sure that Madam was impressed by that, really. She doesn't strike me as the kind of person that likes simple things in life.
I don't know. I think we just have to give them the benefit of the doubt, don't we? I'm always reluctant to get behind anything that the Daily Hile has got to say. And they were particularly racist towards her, which makes me sort of more sympathetic perhaps than I would be.
Right.
They were quite horrible, and particularly about her family. Everybody has got relatives that make them just think, really? We've all got we've all got relatives like that where you just think, oh, please don't come to the family party because you'll embarrass everyone you are, whatever you are. We've all got people like that in our family, and it can't be nice when you actually do well for yourself and those slithery, snaky, horrible people suddenly pop up and want to sell stories about what colour knickers you are and did you eat your cornflakes in the morning. And
yeah, but she's just bad wanting to do it herself, though.
well, yeah, and that's part of the problem. They've been so hypocritical about it.
Yeah.
But Harry, to his credit, seems to want to move heaven and earth to protect her and his child, and part of that is because the press basically killed his mother.
I've always liked Harry and William. I do like them. And even Charles. I like Charles and Camilla now, actually. I think at the end of the day, that whole situation was brought about because they wouldn't let him marry the woman that he loved. And he tried, and I think he really did try, but he just didn't love her. And you can't have a successful marriage with somebody that you're not in love with like that, can you?
Well, no. I think for me, it would have been kinder if he'd been honest with her up front. Instead of letting her believe in the fairy tale.
Which she did, bless her, because she was only a young girl. She was like a lamb to the slaughter. She really was. Poor love. And
yeah,
then
I mean, it is what it is.
I do feel for Camilla as well, because she ended up in a marriage that she wasn't really wanting to be in either. You know, the pair of them, they tried to make the best of it, but when it's not right, it's not right. And he is a completely different person now.
Well, and the obvious affection between the two of them, I think, is rather sweet.
Yeah.
Whereas with Diana, it always looked forced. I mean, that interview with the engagement and, when did you know you were in love? And whatever love is, sort of stood there thinking, yeah, this isn't a love match. Whereas with the Queen and Prince Philip, it was obvious that they were absolutely smitten with one another.
Cabbage.
Yeah, and I thought it's lovely. I think it's really funny. Have you watched the latest series of The Crown?
I love The Crown.
There's an episode in that, for anyone that hasn't seen it, where Duke of Edinburgh is shouting on the intercom, this sort of radio system through the house, sweetie, come to the office. Sweetie, I need you at the office now. Sweetie, come to the office. And someone sort of tentatively knocks on the door and said, excuse me, Your Majesty, we think the Duke of Edinburgh wants you. And she said, it's not for me. I'm not Sweetie. I would be Cabbage, not Sweetie. And just turns back to what she's doing. And then eventually, sort of in her own sweet time, Princess Anne turns up and marches through the house. But what is it you want? All attitude.
I love it.
It just really made me laugh. Yes, that's not for me. He calls me Cabbage.
Oh, Cabbage is such a great name, though, isn't it?
My dad calls my mum Mirth. I've never ever found out what all that's about.
Okay.
Not in all these years. But, it's obviously
maybe
something.
you don't want to know.
Perhaps not.
Some things are best not found out, really, aren't they?
Yeah, perhaps not. Perhaps not. Jake got himself some new earphones today for his gaming computer.
All right, cool.
They arrived and they're like Princess Leia. They're massive. But it's the first pair of sort of headset type earphone things that I've put on and that didn't just slide off my head. Cool. Usually they don't adjust to a small head.
Yeah.
They adjust to massive noggins, but not little heads. And they were perfect. Goodness knows how much they were, because he opened them with such care and reverence and then disappeared upstairs. And apparently the cable is the perfect length for where he wants to sit. And he's got a glum face. And I said, what's that about? Well, I've ordered an extension lead for it.
Oh.
Well, it gives you the freedom to move your room around. Oh, yeah.
But then that would involve cleaning said room.
Yeah, I am getting to the stage, so I've got a plaster with a couple of annoying little threads sticking up, and they're driving me bananas. He's yeah, his room at the moment has got to the stage where I feel I need to go in with a flamethrower.
I don't go in my kids' rooms.
Well, apart from the fact it's utterly minging, but you just have the window open pretty much all the time when it's warm weather like this. So the scent is wafting out of that window away from where it's not in. His usual trick in winter in particular is to open his bedroom door and then beggar off to college, and you come home to the rest of the house smelling like his room.
Oh, don't you just love kids?
Oh, and honestly, it's just like having open bags of rubbish everywhere. It's just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brother was the same with his room.
Boys, that's what it is.
I don't know. I don't know. I probably was like that to an extent as a teenager, but living at home, you didn't really get away with it with my mum. There's no way she'd have tolerated stuff on the floor.
No, my mum.
I just have the view that it's his space. He has to live in it, providing it's not encouraging rats.
I haven't got the energy to argue and fight with them, and I just don't think it's worth it because it'll just taint our relationship. And I think, well, you know, like you say, they've got to live in it, so leave them to it. They confess.
I don't have to put up with it. It's not my problem. And if he falls over something, putting something away, or trying to get something out and hurts himself, and I'll just say, well, if you cleared the floor, it'd be fine. Yeah, I know. And think, well,
yeah.
Okay. I've told you. I've suggested what you might like to do. And at some point, when we get rid of lockdown, Rosie will want to come and stay for a few days.
And he'll tidy up then.
Or at least I'll be messaging her and say, please suggest to Jake that you want to come and stay for 3 or 4 days and he needs to clean his room. Because that is the one surefire thing that will make him tidy up that space to spotless.
Yeah.
If Rosie's coming.
Love it.
So I've got to get that organised with her so that she sends the message as and when they're allowed to visit. And that'll be fine. Yeah.
So my daughter wants me. She's texting me.
Oh, well. Parenting duties.
Calling, yeah. Unfortunately.
I've got Labradors who apparently are telling me that their dish is empty. But I can see the food in it.
Oh, well, you know, it's not the right food, is it?
It's not my food. And the fuss at the moment is they know that I poached a couple of chicken breasts this morning and I had one with salad for my lunch. So we can smell the chicken. So, you know, it's an irresistible temptation. What can you say?
You're just rude. You should have given it to them, not eating it yourself. I mean, call yourself a dog, mum.
Oh, Helen says she's got an insect pocket swatch. This is for your top-down sweater, isn't it? The one with the wheat-ear yoke. I can't wait to see that. You're going to have to show us.
Yeah, too right.
Demand to see it. Finishing the body of this later, and then I'll put some photographs on.
Brilliant.
I'll finish before I pick up the sleeves. I think they're. You'll have to work magic loop on those.
I always work magic loop.
Yeah, I was going to do the sleeves flat because it's just easier in the patterning. But it means you have to purl some rows, obviously, to get the garter stitch. But if you're happy to do that, that's fine.
Cool.
I think a lot of people would rather do a bit more purling and not seam.
Yeah, definitely.
And I quite like my purling, but there you were. Yeah. Right, time to go. We'll be back on Thursday at 6:30, our usual time, give or take. Sometimes we're a few minutes early, depending on how Facebook wants to play, but we'll be back then. Have we got anything planned to chat about? I was going to show you some sketches. I'll be showing you some sketches of ideas I've had for the baby collection
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and maybe one or two bits of swatches and things like that to get some feedback and see what people think, and maybe chat about colours. I'm trying to be sort of subtle and almost neutral. It's not neutral because it's gender-wise with the pink.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to go with sort of soft and muted colours rather than very high contrast or something like that. But it'd be interesting to see what other people think in terms of contrast levels and colours. Baby stuff in the shops at the moment, there's a lot of gentle, sort of subtle sea greens, denim blues,
Mm.
a lot of browns and sepia type colours with cream.
Cool.
There's a lot of sort of, there's half the range seems to be very muted and subtle, and the other half seems to be like in your face with logos and brandy stuff on it, you know. So I don't,
Yeah, not into that.
and I'm not liking the summer colours that are coming out in the shops at the moment. It seems to be a lot of neon. Yeah.
1980s.
Yeah, headbands, wristbands,
Oh,
leggings and all that. Leg warmers. Yeah, so time to go. Let's
definitely.
switch this off again.
And we'll see you all Thursday.
Yeah, see you Thursday. Thanks everyone.